10 to 11, and if you're going to read Rudolph, you better do it soon.
Okay.
Yeah, Jeffy Weffy.
Yes,
No,
anybody does.
You got innocent little children sitting around you and you, whoa.
Yeah, it's tricky, isn't it?
Whoa! Here, Andy.
It's a good book you got there, Rudolph.
Tyler.
It's been around. You sit-
You don't want
You think you can,
Oh, I
Here.
won't fart anymore, I promise.
to. Are you going to fit in there, all of you? Oh, geez, the poor
Okay.
chair.
how about Cody and Jennifer?
Yeah, what kind of a deal is this here?
Well, it's kind of.
Don't fall, Annie, whatever you do.
Doesn't break us.
Okay. Hi, everybody.
Hold up the book.
He loves it. He loves
Rudolph, the
Right in
red-nosed
front of your face.
Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer.
Tyler, put your hand down. Thank you.
And put your
Smile.
hand down.
Come on.
Smile. 1, 2, 3.
Yeah.
Well, that's the wrong button. This is a new camera. I just bought this thing.
Really? You got a new camera? Oh, good flash. All right, wait a minute. All right.
it.
Now we can't read it.
Okay, I want you to read.
Okay.
Yeah.
No,
Rudolph.
it's all blurred. Yeah.
It's kind of falling apart.
We noticed.
Kind of
Just
falling.
because it's
Older than
As-
you are.
as old as your
Okay.
uncle.
Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer by Robert L. May. Published by Maxim
Wait a minute. What's the date that it was published?
Published by Maxim Publishers Incorporated, 15 East 26 South
Oh, come
Street,
on.
New York, New York. Copyright MCM XXX1X by Robert L. May. All rights.
59.
No, 59. Did you know
59?
that?
No,
No,
49.
40, 39.
XXX 39.
39.
Right?
39.
39.
Collector value is gone. Does it?
Yeah, I think so.
Cover being
When
a
the
little
cover
loose.
went off.
Oh, gee.
Why
Was-
is it on the light?
Because that's when I get, like, put some zoom into the words. 'Twas the day before Christmas, and all through the hills the reindeers were playing, enjoying the spills of skating and coasting and climbing the willows and hopscotch and leapfrog.
Protected by pillows.
Protected by pillows. While every so often they'd stop to call names at one little deer not allowed in their games. Ha ha, look at Rudolph, his nose is a sight. It's red as a beet, twice as big, twice as bright. While Rudolph just cried, what else could he do?
Poor
He
thing.
knew that the things they were saying were true. Where most reindeers' noses were brownish and tiny, poor Rudolph's was red, very large and quite shiny. In daylight it dazzled, the picture shows that.
Oh, yeah, right.
Oh, boy.
And at night it glowed like the eyes of a cat, and putting dirt on it just made it look muddy. Oh boy, was he mad when they nicknamed him Ruddy. Although he was lonesome, he was always good, obeying his parents as good reindeer should.
Oh,
That's why on this day Rudolph almost felt playful. He hoped from that he hoped that from Santa, soon driving his sleigh full of presents and candy and dollies and toys for good little animals, good little girls and boys, he'd get just as much, and this is what pleased him, as the happier, handsomer reindeer who teased him. So as night and a fog hid the world like a hood, he went to bed hopeful. He knew he'd been good. While way, way up north on the same foggy night, old Santa was packing his sleigh for its flight. This fog, he complained, will be hard to get through. He shook his round head, and his tongue shook too. Without any stars or a moon as our compass, this extra dark night is quite likely to swamp us. To keep from collisions, we'll have to fly slow. To keep our direction, we'll have to fly low. We'll steer by the street lamps and houses tonight in order to finish before it gets light. Just think how the boys and the girls' faith would be shaken if we didn't reach them before they awaken. Come Dancer, come Prancer and Vixen, come Comet, come Cupid, come Donner and Blitzen. Be quick with your suppers, get hitched in a hurry. You too will find fog, a delay, and a worry. And Santa was right, as he usually is. The fog was as thick as a soda's white fizz.
Fizz. Alka-Seltzer.
Just not getting lost needed all Santa's skill. With the street signs and numbers more difficult still, he tangled in treetops again and again, and barely mishitting a four-motored plane.
Again and again.
Plane.
Come on, Jeff, you do this every year.
It's
Back up.
again.
You're
Back
supposed to say
again.
again.
Just not getting lost needed all Santa's skill, while the streetlights and numbers more difficult still, he tangled in treetops again and again,
That's it.
and barely mishitting a four-motored plane.
That's it. He got it.
I'm dying.
So making speed with much twisting and turning, as long as the street lamps and houses were burning.
He blows that line every year.
At each house first noting the people who lived there, he quickly picked up a ripe presents to give there. By midnight, however, the last light had fled, for even big people had then gone to bed.
I should think so.
Speaking of which,
Because it's 11 o'clock.
because it might wake them, a match was denied him. Oh my, how he wished for just one star to guide him. Through dark streets and houses, old Santa did poorly. He now picked his presents more slowly, less surely. He really was worried, for what would he do if folks started waking before he was through? The air was still foggy, the night dark and drear, when Santa arrived at the home of the deer. A ledge that he tripped on while seeking the chimney gave Santa a spill and a painfully skinned knee.
What?
That was close.
Back up.
A ledge that he tripped on while seeking the chimney
Yeah.
gave Santa a spill and a painfully skinned knee.
Very
Knee.
Annie.
And knee.
Annie.
Skin knee.
Okay.
A room he came down in was blacker than ink. He went for a chair and then found it a sink.
Yeah, well, we got it.
We got it.
Hey, I never heard this one.
You never heard this before?
No.
You don't
Yeah.
remember?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been so long.
Yeah, it's
It's
been a
been
long
long.
time since you've been with us for Christmas.
The first
You're right.
reindeer's bedroom was so very black, he tripped on a rug and fell flat on his back. So dark that he had moved too close to the bed and squint very hard at the sleeping deer's head before he could choose the right kind of toy, a doll for a girl and a train for a boy.
That's all.
Not politically correct. Tell this was made in the 30s.
Yeah, on the other hand, you know,
Mother.
there's no computers or other high-priced
True.
items.
Keep going.
But all this took time and filled Santa with gloom, while he groped towards the next reindeer's room. The door he just opened when, to his surprise, a dim but quite definite light met his eyes. The lamp wasn't burning. The glow came instead from something that lay at the head of the bed. And there lay, but wait now, what do you suppose? The glowing, you guessed it, was Rudolph's red nose!
Yay.
So this room was easy. This one little light let Santa pick quickly the gifts that were right. How happily he was when he went out the door, and the rest of the house was black as before. So black that it made every step a dark mystery. And then came the greatest idea in all history. He went back to Rudolph and started to shake him, of course very gently, in order to wake him. And Rudolph could scarcely believe his own eyes. You can just imagine his joy and surprise at seeing who stood there so real, so near, while telling the tale we've already told here. 'Twas
No.
She does that every year too.
Start over.
Pleasant night before
It says it.
And all through the house, not a creature was stirring, not even Little mouse.
That's
The
next.
children
Keep
were
going.
nestled.
She knows this all.
Perfect.
Poor Santa's sad story of dark and delay, the fog and the blackness and losing his way, and sitting on the sink and falling on his back. The horrible fear that some children might waken before his complete Christmas trip had been taken. And you, he told Rudolph, may yet save the day. Your wonderful forehead may yet pave the way for a wonderful Christmas it actually might. Old Santa, you notice, was extra polite to Rudolph regarding his wonderful forehead. To call it a big shiny nose would sound horrid. I need you, said Santa, to help me tonight, to lead all my deer on the rest of our flight. And Rudolph broke into such a big grin, it almost connected his ears to his chin. A note for his folks as he dashed off in a hurry. I've gone to help Santa, he wrote. Do not worry, said Santa. My sleigh I'll bring down to the lawn. He'll stick in the chimney. In a flash, he was gone. Speaking of which.
Never mind.
Okay. So Rudolph pranced out through the door, very gay,
Jeff, keep going.
Oh, God.
and took his proud place at the head of the sleigh. And the rest of the night, well, what would you guess? Oh, Santa's idea was a brilliant success. And brilliant was almost no word for the way that Santa directed the deer and the sleigh. Oh, sorry. Rudolph directed the deer and the sleigh. In spite of the fog, they flew quickly and low and made such a good use of the wonderful glow from Rudolph's forehead at each intersection that not even once did they lose their direction. As for the houses and streets with a sign on them, they merely flew close so that Rudolph could shine on them. To tell who lived where and just what to give whom, they'd fly by each window and peek in the room. Old Santa always knew where its children were good and minded their parents and ate what they should.
Yeah.
So Santa selected the gift that was right, while Rudolph's forehead gave just enough light. It all went so fast that before it was day, the very last present was given away. The very last stocking was filled to the top, just as the sun was preparing to pop. This sun woke the reindeer in Rudolph's hometown. They found the short message that he'd written down, then gathered outside to await his return. And were they excited, astonished to learn that Rudolph, the ugliest deer of them all, Rudolph the red-nosed, bashful and small, the funny-faced fellow they always called names and practically never allowed in their games, was now to be envied by all far and near. For no greater honor could come to a deer than riding with Santa and guiding his sleigh, the #1 job on the #1 day.
Wait a minute, what was the message you left?
I'm going to help Santa.
That he went to help Santa.
Okay, I didn't remember you reading that. Was
She
that-
read it, he read
He
it.
read it.
Said
Okay.
a note for his folks as he dashed off in a hurry. I've gone to help Santa, he wrote. Do not worry.
Okay,
It
all
says
right.
right there, dear Mummy and Daddy.
All right, okay, that's
He
fine.
wrote it in ink.
Oh, smart.
It's pretty good without having opposable fingers.
Well, he's using his hoof. See, if you really were to pay attention to the drawings here, you'd see the way he holds his pens
Oh.
between the two clefts of his right-handed
Look.
hoof.
He's killing me.
Thank you for all the technical advice.
Back to the story. The sleigh and its reindeer soon came into view, and Rudolph still led them as downward they flew. Oh boy, was he proud as they came to a landing right where the handsomer playmates were standing. These bad deer who used to do nothing but tease him would now have done anything only to please him. They even felt sorrier they had been bad when Santa said, "Rudolph, I have never have had a deer quite so brave or so brilliant as you, as fighting back black fog and steering me through. By you, last night's journey was actually bossed. Without you, I'm sure we'd all have been lost." It's a pretty hip word there for the 30s. "I hope you'll continue to keep us from grief on future dark nights as Commander-in-Chief." Wow. While Rudolph just blushed from his head to his toes until his whole fur was as red as his nose. See how red he's getting.
Oh, he's so bad.
That looks like Terry after a snowmobile. The crowd first applauded, then started to screech, "Hooray for our Rudolph, and we want a speech!" But Rudolph was bashful, despite being a hero, and tired. His sleep on the trip totaled 0. Good thing. So that's why his speech was quite short, not bright. Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night. And that's why, whenever it's foggy and gray, it's Rudolph the Red-Nosed who guides Santa's sleigh. Be listening this Christmas, but don't make a peep, 'cause that late at night, children should be asleep. The very first sound that you'll hear on the roof, provided there's fog, will be Rudolph's small hoof. And soon after that, if you're still as a mouse, you may hear a swish as he flies round the house and gives enough light to give Santa a view of you and your room. And then when they're all through, you may hear them call as they drive out of sight, "Merry Christmas to all, and to all a good night." You will also enjoy the story of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer on RCA Victor Non-Breakable Records and the popular song by the same name.
Uh-huh.
Sung by Gene Autry.
Was it really?
Yeah.
It was
Yay.
the night before Christmas, and all through the house,
Hi.
a creature was stirring.
1995 Christmas.
And the children were nestled all snug in their beds, while visions of sugar plums danced in their heads. And Ma in her kerchief and I in my cap had just settled down for our brains for a long winter's nap. When out on the lawn there arose such a clatter, I sprang from my bed to see what was the matter. Away to the window I flew like a flash, threw open the shutters and threw up the sash. And the
The moon on the breast of the new fallen snow gave a luster of midnight to objects below.
And then to my wondering eyes should appear
With a miniature sleigh and 8 tiny reindeer.
with
With a little old driver so lively and quick, I knew in a moment it must be Saint Nick.
I drew in my head, it
When he
was
was
turning around, when down
The chimney
he came
with a bound.
He was dressed, am I leaving something out?
He-
Dressed all in, what?
He spoke not a word but went straight to his work.
No, he was dressed all in fur from his head to his toe. And he,
He had a pipe that circled his head like a
wait a
bow.
minute.
Something about
His head,
wild hurricanes.
his
flying.
smoke.
Oh, Eddie knows where
The
to go.
smoke went around his head like a
I
bow.
drew in my head was turning around down the chimney.
No, but
All right,
Saint
no,
Nicholas
let
came
her
with
read.
a bound.
One at a
He
time.
was dressed all in foot from his head to his foot, and his clothes were all
Tarnished with
Ashes and soot.
That's the
a
line.
bundle of toys. He
Wait, you
flung-
can read some too.
A bundle of toys he flung in his bed, and he looked like a teddy bear just like his cat. His eyes had a twinkle, his dimples had an hammer. His cheeks were like roses, his nose like a cherry. His jolly little mouth was drawn up like a bow, and his beard on his chin and his leather snake. The stump of his pipe he held tight in his teeth, and the smoke it encircled his head like a hoop. He had a broad face and a little round belly that shook when he laughed when it
You
glowed.
Bowl full of jelly.
Wait a minute,
Good job.
It's all right.
left out
Mother.
a most crucial part.
Sugar plums.
No.
Chubby and plump.
Wait a minute, about the little old driver, it must be Saint Nick. More rapid than eagles, his
Oh, it's
coursers they came, and he whistled and shouted and called them by name. Now Dasher, now Dancer, now Comet and Vixen. I'm Comet, I'm Cupid, I'm Donner and Blitzen. To the top of the porch, to the top of the wall. Now dash away, dash away, dash away all.
That is an important part.
It is a very important, it's dry leaves that
I mean,
before
you
the
know,
wild hurricane fly.
you didn't have
when they
Rudolph,
meet
though.
with an obstacle bound to the sky, so up to the housetops. The coursers they flew.
That was
A
before
sleigh full of
Rudolph.
toys, said St. Nicholas too. And then in a twinkle I heard on the roof the prancing and pawing of each little hoof. Now, notice I drew in my head and was turning
All right,
around
skip.
down the chimney. I would skip over. Oh no, nope. Did we have the
Yes.
bundle?
He was chubby and plump
Now we
and
have
bright, jolly old elf, and they laughed when I saw him in spiders.
the.
And wink of his eyes and a twist of his head soon gave me the man I had nothing to dread. He spoke not a word, but went straight to his work and filled all his stockings with sugar. And laying his finger aside of his nose and giving a nod up the chimney he rose. He sprang to the sleigh, to his team gave a whistle, and away they all flew like a diamond whistle. But I heard him explain as he drove out of sight, Happy Christmas to all,
and to all a good night.
It's Happy Christmas Day, right?
Yeah,
The original was Happy.
right. Okay, who wrote it? Originally. Don't peek. Does anybody know?
Hans Christian Andersen.
No, Clement Moore.
Oh, good old Clement, I knew him well.
Yeah. Now
He's
this
dead now,
is copyright
Didn't he die?
1950, but this is,
I went to school with him.
yeah.
Did you?
The original story was written back in the 1800s someplace.
Really?
I went to school in the 1800s. Yeah.
They're older.
There you go.